It's a good Wednesday afternoon, and I thought I'd make a video today talking to kind of going over why I do all of this, why I started this channel. I started because I wanted to take the things that I wished I knew when I was younger and offer that to a younger generation. I marvel at how many times I come across people, 15, 20, who just never had anyone to teach them anything. Best they got was how to boil a pot of water. And so I figured that I could create a space where I shared all of the wisdom that I gathered over the years to my younger brothers and sisters, so that they can get a head start with a few of the things I wish I had back then. So today I'm talking about relationships, taking the shot, seeking counsel, and confrontation. I feel like these are three kind of critical steps to building relationships in your life. A lot of people struggle with connecting with other people and with making friends in the first place, and I think this is probably the biggest thing. A lot of people will make that one token friend and then play it safe, and they almost have this like poverty mentality. If that friend somehow decides to branch out or make another friend, like they become insecure, and they almost want that person all to themselves because they feel like they're not going to have a chance to make any more friends, And I think the best analogy for this is people like Steph Curry or even any successful person ever, Steve Jobs, Mark Cuban. You look at these people and you'll see one thing in common: they take the shot, lots of them. Mark Cuban has talked about how he has, I'm pretty sure it was him, has bankrupted like 3 or 4 times. Trump's bankrupted 3 or 4 times. In another analogy, if you looked at like Steph Curry's shot thousands of shots, and he's also missed, thousands of shots from his career, from starting as a child till now. He's probably missed more shots than any kid in high school and middle school. Probably more than many professionals. He took a lot of shots. He missed a lot of shots. When I was in middle school, I had one girlfriend. Actually, throughout my entire middle school, high school career, I had one girlfriend, and that one girlfriend I had was the one who asked me out. So I say this not coming from someone who just had it all figured out and knocked it out the first time, but who learned later in life the value of seeking relationships and creating as many relationships as possible. The goal in taking the shot and reaching out to people is to crush this idea of perfectionism and build courage in its place. Oftentimes we want to wait for the ideal conditions. We want to create a, there's no one is next to the person that I'm trying to talk to. No other attractive people are there. This is my chance. And then all of a sudden, some a person who you're intimidated by walks up to the person that you're trying to make friends with or trying to ask out, and you're like, oh man, well, I guess I'll wait for another chance. I'll wait for another shot. But I think it's better to take the shot and miss than to never take the shot at all. Wayne Gretzky was a famous hockey player, and he has the most goals in a single season in hockey history, and he played in the 80s. And he was famously attributed for the quote of, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." And he really proved that to be the case. And if you look at his career, if you happen to be into sports and look into all those things, you're going to see a lot of missed shots. A lot of times where he shot where the conditions weren't ideal and he missed. But you're also going to see a lot of epic shots where the conditions were terrible and he made it, and it changed the course of the game. And so, be okay failing and missing your shot, because it's just going to be a chance for you to learn. And every once in a while, you'll get that epic shot where no one thought you could make it, and it'll change the game. Once you have started this process of actually taking the shots, the next step after that is to get a coach, seek counsel. Look at other people who are around you who are succeeding in the way that you want to succeed. You see that popular kid in school, ask him how he did it. Just straight up. I remember in elementary school, a friend of mine, his name was Caleb. There was this one kid, his name was Tim, and he was the popular kid in school. He was friends with everyone. Everyone liked him. He was super popular, super cool. And I remember it was me, Caleb, and Tim. We were all sitting around a soccer goal, and Caleb asked Tim, he's like, "How do you do it?" It's amazing how I think back on this, and I'm finding the answer that I was looking for all these years. I had gotten it then if I'd only realized. Tim said, in order to make friends, you just have to be nice to everybody. And in our elementary words, I think that I didn't quite grasp what that meant, but he was basically hitting at that idea that you have to shoot the shot with as many people as possible. Be friendly, be kind, be friends with everyone, say hello, and don't wait for the perfect candidate to become friends with. Oh, well, this guy, he likes sports like me, so let me become friends with him. Just try to be friends with everyone. And, it's funny, that kid, Caleb, he went on to be one of the most popular kids in our middle school and high school career. Tons of friends, popular, well-liked, smart, intelligent, handsome, had girlfriends and friends. And he really took the advice, And so he learned that in elementary school. It took me years to learn the value of that. There's a saying, without counsel, plans fail, but with many advisors, they succeed. And I think that, you can go about this alone. You can shoot the shots and you'll learn. There's plenty of kids out there who shoot 10,000 shots alone in their backyard and become decent at basketball. But the same kid who's going to shoot 10,000 shots with a coach is going to get farther faster. So seek counsel, find those people in your life who have what you want and ask them how they did it. Mr. Beast is quoted as saying, consultants are cheat codes. And it just he's learned that in his experience, why figure it out yourself when you can ask people who already did it? You're just cutting out all of the learning time. When he was learning how to do the challenge where he stayed underground for like 2 days or something like that, his first thought was ask David Blaine. David Blaine did the same thing. So why am I reinventing the wheel? Let me figure out how he did it, and I'll go from there and tailor it to my needs. And then after that, once you've got the relationships, you're like, great, okay, well, how do you keep those relationships? How do you keep them authentic? How do you keep them real? Every relationship in life, the valuable relationships that you have in life are authentic. And in order to have an authentic relationship, you have to be willing to have conflict. Conflict keeps the love real. When your friend Johnny says, is playfully calling you, dummy, you missed the shot. Maybe you don't play that way. Maybe in your life and the way that you've been raised, calling your friend a dummy is not nice, and some people, they can take a little bit of trash talk and they like it even. They'll dish some trash talk out. Maybe for you, that's not your thing. You just take a moment, and rather than think, oh, well, I'll be patient with them and I'll wait till next time, maybe later, maybe they'll see the look on my face and they'll change their ways. No. Confrontation is how you keep things real, how you keep it authentic, how you let them know that, hey, maybe that wasn't what I didn't feel nice when that happened, Avoiding that confrontation isn't patience. It's just cowardice and hiding who you are, really. It's hiding who you are. And isn't the point of friendship to show yourself, your full self, your authentic self to someone else, and for them to say, I like that. I like this guy. And for you to do the same, So the end goal is to, finish each other's sandwiches, like they said in Frozen. You want unity. You want to be so on the same page that you are that you guys are able to go about and do tasks, things, adventures together, and not be tripping over each other, you know? So, you know, to review, you know, you got to take the shot, you got to find yourself a coach, and you got to keep the relationship real once you sink the shot. You know, this is the things that I wish I would have known as a you know, elementary student, middle school student, high school student, even after graduation. You know, it would have been, you know, amazing to have learned these things. So, you know, hopefully I've convinced you that it's worth missing a couple of times to get the basket. You know, you're going to go, you're going to shoot the shot, and you're going to miss a few times, but you're going to get some shots. And the more you do it, the more baskets you're going to get. So what's the shot you've been afraid to take? Take it. And let me know how it went in the comments. Talk to you later.